Hello everyone, welcome to Tune Academy, and today we're going to talk about backtesting and batch testing on the platform. With this, you will be able to experiment with your strategy. First thing is you need to understand what backtesting is, and pretty much it assesses the viability of a trading strategy by analyzing how it will play out with historical data. Backtesting allows a trader to simulate a trading strategy using historical data to generate results and analyze a risk and profitability before risking any actual capital. So the first thing that we need to do is to select our strategy in the editor. In this case, I will just pick one of the ones that I have here, John Ehlers. And then you will see right here on the right side the preview, and you can click on backtest. On the backtest settings, you will find multiple things. The first thing is the strategy. You can select in the drop down which strategy you want to backtest. As you can see here, there are multiple ones. Then the strategy version is that depending on the settings, you could store multiple versions of the same strategy. So right now we're on number 2, the current one. Next is the exchange. Here you can select from some of the supported platforms like FTX Futures, BitMEX, Bybit, Binance Futures, and Binance. Next up is the trading pair, which is the pair of coins, currency that do you plan to use. Normally they are a pair of crypto / unstable coin like USDT, Tether. The allocation, which is the amount of capital that you are enabling for this backtest in dollars. The long leverage, which is the leverage multiplier for long positions, and the short leverage, which is the leverage multiplier for short positions. Backtest start, which is the start date of the test, and the backtest stop, which is when the test will end. The candle size is the size you want to use divisible by 24 hours. This could be in minutes. If for example you put 2 or any number, it will just be in minutes. If you put H and a number attached to it, it will be hours, so 2 hours or like 20 hours. And then you could use days as well. If you use a D and a number at first, like 2D is 2 days, for example. Look back days is the amount of days in the past your indicators start calculating. Please note that Tune auto suggests the look back based on the size of the candle you're using, but you have the ability to change the look back if you know your specific needs. Also, it's not a good idea to set really high look backs because it takes longer to get results from the platform due to the increased computation. So be aware of all these comments about the look back. Either use the suggested one or make sure that you are okay and aware of what you're doing with it. The tags are pretty much labels that you use and you can create to assign them depending on your needs. Then in the strategy settings, you can see where all your variable parameters will appear. This will depend on the strategy that you're picking. So for example, if we click and select TDH sample, because the parameters of TDH sample are different, you will see that the strategy settings are completely different to, for example, John Ehlers. So if I go back here to John Ehlers, you will see that the settings are different instead of the parameters. On the open position settings, we have the buy sell action time, that it could be a candle close, which that it will be only execute the buy or sell once the candle is closed, and that will then depend on the time frame period you have chosen, like 1 month chart, 1 hour chart, it depends. It could also be real time, which is as soon as buy or sell signals have been fulfilled, execute immediately. So that depends on what you want to do. Then you have max buy, which is the percentage of the available funds that will be used on each signal buy. And then at the end, you have the minimum profit, which is the minimum profit percentage, stop loss percentage, with trailing or not, it depends on what you want, and then the take profit percentage with trailing deviation or not. After you have all the parameters set, the only thing that you need to do is to click on Run Backtest. And as you can see, it will then perform and it will show you the details of it. If we go back to Backtest and we create multiple ones at once and have them all processed quickly on the servers, so you can test different strategy settings very quickly, then on that setting, you're like actually doing a batch test. So the syntax for actually doing batch testing is in some of the fields that is acceptable, you can use multiple values, comma separated. You can have a range with an increment, or then you can have a negative range with increment. Some of those things can be used in fields like the candle size. So for example, if we go here, we can put multiple candle sizes. 1. If we go here, we can put 1, 2, and then 3, and it will run a back test with those 3 different parameters, and those will be like 3 different back tests, so that will be a batch test. Other fields where you can actually use this is on the strategy settings right here on the minimum profit at the end, stop loss and take profit. So for example, if I put minimum profit, I can do a range increment of like 1 to 5, starting with 1. And I could do the same thing if I wanted to with like a negative value, but that's not the case at this point. So if I do this, you will see that I will have automatically 15 back tests. So if I click run, it will run a batch test of 15 multiple back tests. As you can see here, it's running, that's the status, and after ending, it will let me know what's going on. You can see the progress bar, which is running the multiple strategies until it ends completely the batch test. And as you can see here, the TDH sample, my batch test with 15 permutations. If I click it, I can see that the status has ended, and this is all the different permutations back tests that were happening on the background. Some were in profit, some had losses, and then it can just evaluate what happened in each case. And that's pretty much it. Thank you, stay tuned.